Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of May 9th, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable and phenomenal astrological week. It is going to be early in the week that we are going to have a powerful new moon. This new moon will be speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto, in harmony with Neptune as well. But it is going to be a few days later that we will have Jupiter changing signs, getting a little bit of a taste of Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces. At the end of the week, Mercury goes into shadow, which means Mercury retrograde season, the larger Mercury retrograde season, is beginning now, even though Mercury will go retrograde at the end of the month. So let's take it one at a time, because it isn't just these big monumental events, but other planetary alignments that are ultimately supporting these very energies. And I do, of course, want to add, I will do a very thorough exploration of Jupiter moving into Pisces and what that's going to mean for us, not just this stint that will take us to the end of July, but the larger transit that we are going to have and feel this energy on and off throughout 2021 and in 2022 as well. So there will be a special horoscope about that. Be on the lookout for that this week. But for now, I will be sure to touch on some themes that I think are going to be important that we are going to start to feel this week as well. But let's start with the new moon, because on Tuesday, we will have that powerful Taurus new moon. Now, Taurus is an energy that is embodied. It is about the five senses and the awakening of the five senses. Now, given that we've got a harmonious connection with Neptune, the spirituality of being embodied, the spiritual awareness around embodiment is going to be a theme for many people out there, but also the sheer transformative power of paying attention to your life, being in the present moment, paying attention to your own five senses, the sensory experience of life, and how it is that that can transform our future, transform our circumstances today for the better. I think this is going to be something that is illustrated for a lot of people out there. Now, Taurus is also an energy that is practical. It can be very goal-oriented as well. And new moons are about new beginnings. So in some way, all of us are going to be feeling a sense that we are beginning again in at least one area of life. There are monthly horoscopes up on my YouTube channel, of course, so have a look at that, where I talk about this new moon energy for each of the signs. But I will say that for the collective, this is paying attention to what we value. It's paying attention to economic matters. That tends to be a big focus when we're looking at Taurian energy, and how it is that we can understand economic matters so that we can be empowered, transform our circumstances, how it is that we can understand a more inspired way of approaching our own understanding of money and the money that we have access to. All of these are going to be highlighted in one way or another for a lot of us out there. Taurus is also an energy that has to do with possessions, the things that we may take on. How do we feel about it? And we may start to feel about the things in our life differently. And this ultimately can be very empowering. To put material possessions in their right place, to understand them for what they are, which is, I would say, part of the illusion, right? We've created this and co-created this earthly experience. And as part of this earthly experience, we may take on stuff from time to time, and that stuff can be material stuff. But at the end of the day, it really is about the spiritual lessons. We are spirit, love, wisdom incarnated. And we are here to have a spiritual experience through our senses, through the sensory experience of being a human being. And it is this very energy of this new moon that is going to invite us to take a little bit of a step back. Our feelings about our material reality is meant to serve our unique journey towards the more full embodiment of greater love and greater wisdom. It is not an end in and of itself. And I think this realization is going to be further affirmed by the fact that we've got a couple of important energies happening at the same time as this new moon. One is Jupiter at 29 degrees of Aquarius. This is considered an anaretic degree. That's what the ancients called it. And what that is the very end of a given sign. This is a point of culmination, of conclusion. It can be a point of concentration as well, a concentrated energy that reminds us that we also have thought and ideas and brilliance, and it is on a level of mind that there is great equality available to us all. This is the energy of ideas coming full circle, of reaching a concentration point, especially revolutionary ideas now. But it's only just a little bit of a taste. The fact that we are having a Taurus new moon at the same time does suggest that some of these very new ideas that may be presenting themselves now may be related to how we understand the material reality of our existence. Now, whether that has to do with how we understand money, how we understand possessions, or whether that means moving diligently towards a goal that we have set for ourselves, it is going to be now that new ideas, new prospects come into the picture to help us to see these very prospects differently than we have before. I'm especially excited about the balance here. On the one hand, we've got a sign, Taurus, that is a fixed sign, which means that it holds the season. Its energy is especially strong. It's especially concerned with or interested in matters of authenticity. But it's a very literal energy. And then we've got Aquarius, Jupiter at 29 of Aquarius. This is also a fixed sign as well. It is holding the season. It is Taurus that holds the spring. It is the energy of Aquarius in the middle of the winter that will hold ideas, contemplate them that much more deeply, but also come up with new connections, new ways of understanding that can be very powerful in and of themselves. So these two energies are going to find a way to work together, taking pure thought and material reality and bringing them together to shape something new. Now, this sense of something new coming forward right around the new moon, I think is going to be further affirmed by the fact that on the same day, we are going to have Mars in the sign of Cancer, speaking in harmony with Uranus. Now, Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, and it is in the sign of Taurus right now as well. And this energy in and of itself for the collective is inviting us to see money and material reality differently than we have before, slowly but surely since 2018 and right into 2026, we are going to continue to have this energy. But for now, as Mars in a part of the sky and in a sign, Cancer, that has to do with care. What does it mean to care for others? What does it mean to care for yourself, to nourish and nurture yourself? And how is it that we can genuinely nourish each other? Well, with this beautiful alignment, on the one hand, look, Mars speaking in harmony with Uranus is fortunate. It is just a lucky energy. Things, actions, ideas, prospects can feel like they leap forward very quickly. We can find ourselves very motivated to take action, to move our lives into a more fortunate future, a more empowered future for us. This can be, on the one hand, brilliant ideas, but also insightful feelings. Mars is in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is a feeling-oriented energy. And so we are invited to look at what we feel about a given matter differently, in a way that ultimately feels enlivening, that feels like a fortunate turn of events, a new understanding, a new opportunity now to reshape what we understand as what we really need to feel cared for. Now, I would also add it is the Cancer vibe that has to do with family. Sometimes this is family of origin. This can also have to do with our very base level identities. So things like how we identify in terms of the country we're from, the ethnicity that we're from. And it is this beautiful Uranian energy that's going to invite us to see ourselves more expansively than we have before. Invite us to consider matters of whom we consider one of us, whom we consider family, more expansively, differently, more enthusiastically than before. On Wednesday, Mercury will make a supremely harmonious alignment with Saturn. I love this energy. It is Mercury moving through its home sign of Gemini, Saturn moving through its home sign of Aquarius. So both of these planets are strong in the sky. And when they connect in this way, it can bring with it new ideas that are different, that truly represent a new way of looking at things, but have the potential to create meaningful change that lasts for a long time to come. And so, where possible in your life, in at least one area of life, chances are there is going to be a conversation, a communication, or maybe a personal insight that can help you to welcome in greater stability, greater responsibility that helps you to cultivate meaningful self-respect, but also greater success, and success that is meaningful to you, achievement that is meaningful to you. For some, this is going to be great ideas. So make sure that you are doing whatever it is that you do to cultivate those very ideas, whether it is brainstorming, writing things down, sharing them with other people. The thing with Gemini energy is that it does move very quickly. And so where possible, try to write things down, because it's good to have some sort of documentation, especially with Saturn involved. But with Gemini, that energy prefers to talk rather than write, because writing can feel like it slows things down. But I think that Saturn, speaking in supreme harmony with Mercury, is going to encourage us to be measured in ways that can bring rewards. So these are ideas that ultimately can lend themselves to us aligning with a more stable future in its own right. Now, it is going to be at the very end of the week that Mercury will enter shadow. Yes, Mercury retrograde season is beginning. Pay very close attention to what is happening in your life at the end of this week, because in some way you will understand it differently once you navigate to June 21st. That is when we are going to have Mercury return to where he is at the very end of this week. This is the pathway that Mercury is now beginning to walk, that Mercury will retrace once he goes retrograde. And once he stations direct, this is exactly where he's going to be, where he is now at the end of this week. Now, considering that Mercury retrograde season is taking place in its home sign of Gemini, well, I would say, and I'm going to put myself out there and say, I think that communications are really going to get very wonky. Whether this is the content of the messages or the delivery of the messages, the modes with which we deliver messages, and technologies, especially technologies that we've become very used to, that are part of our normal everyday reality. All of this set to start to feel very wonky very quickly. As Mercury enters shadow, some of these themes may start to arise now. How it is that we communicate with each other, and where it is that perhaps we can choose forms that feel more clear, more empowering. Well, look, this is going to be part of the exploration now. I'm not promising you clear answers just yet. This is a Mercury retrograde season in the sign of Gemini. Not the time to be buying new technologies, or I would even say to tech companies launching new technologies, launching new websites. That may be not the way to go just yet. However, remember, with Mercury retrograde, it comes and it goes, and this Mercury retrograde as well will go. Ultimately, the higher spiritual lesson of this Mercury retrograde season is to help us to speak with integrity, help us to connect more deeply with what it is that we uniquely have to express, what we uniquely have to share, and to share it from that place of truth within. This energy is going to invite us to take into consideration the power of language, the power of words, Words themselves hold emotional charge. Words themselves hold emotional energy. So make sure that we use our words well and wisely, keeping in mind that the same word can mean very different things to different people. But if it is that we choose to access the higher spiritual intention behind the language, but also of the language itself, then what we communicate becomes that much more effective, that much more powerful, and that much more a force for good. Now, finally, I do want to talk about Jupiter going into the sign of Pisces. Again, there is going to be a whole Jupiter special horoscope that's going to be up on my YouTube channel this week. So please make sure you turn on the notifications so that you are aware when that is posted, because I have a lot to talk about there. But what I will say for now is we are going to feel this energy. It is an important shift. It is Jupiter moving into its home sign of Pisces, one of its home signs. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of the sign of Pisces, and here it is able to bring forward its more compassionate, more artistic, more beautifying, and especially higher forms of beauty, spiritual forms of beauty, qualities that Jupiter holds. It helps us to see meaning and purpose, to connect to a sense that whatever may be happening in our life, there is some wisdom playing out. In fact, I do think there's going to be a lot of emphasis almost immediately on love, on wisdom, and raising the stakes, raising the standards for what these words are going to mean for us individually and collectively as well. Now, this energy can also be phenomenal where it comes to art and music and glitz and glamour. And I think a lot of people out there are going to find themselves more interested in these matters than they might have otherwise been. In fact, I would even say very quickly as Jupiter moves into the sign of Pisces, there might be a song that really starts to take over the collective consciousness in some way. So my hope is whatever song it is that seems like everybody's singing it, everywhere you go, you hear it, whatever song this may be, my hope is that it affirms an empowering message that brings us together, that brings people together. Ultimately, it is the energy of Pisces that is an energy of communion, understanding that we are all one. The energy of Aquarius says that we are all together, but we're still individuals. But with Pisces, we are all part of a singular ocean. We may be an individual drop, but that ultimately is illusionary. We are all operating together in a spiritual sphere. So, how is it that we can do our part to ensure that our corner of the spiritual sphere is contributing to that collective? Because ultimately, we are part of the whole. And from there, genuine compassion can come forward as well. This energy is going to invite us to see our lives with eyes of love, spiritual love. There is this wonderful song that I love. Now, many, many years ago, I remember I stumbled upon this movie called The Prince of Egypt. It's an animated story. It's the story of Moses. And I loved this movie. I just remember watching it all the time, learning the songs, singing the songs, because it's a musical. And it's so entertaining, regardless of, how you feel about Moses or don't feel about Moses or think about Moses. It's just such a beautiful story, and it has these elements of Egyptian mythology. It touches on that a little bit as well. So I absolutely loved it, and I loved the songs, and I sang the songs. They became a mantra to me. And one of the songs I loved was called Look at Your Life Through Heaven's Eyes. Look at your life through heaven's eyes. That we don't always understand how we as a single thread are part of this larger, beautiful tapestry. We cannot see it because we are so focused on the thread that we consider our lives, and we think that this is the most important, most grand, most greatest thread. But the truth is that it is part of a larger whole. Our lives, our existence is a part of a larger whole, a larger unfolding. And if we are willing to just step back a little bit, to see our lives from a higher perspective, then we can glimpse some of this mystery. We can glimpse some of this magic, some of this divine beauty. That's what that song reminds me of. And that's what I think of when I think of Jupiter moving into the energy of Pisces. How many of us are going to take up that call to be willing to see our lives, to look at our lives through heaven's eyes, to look at our lives from the perspective of how it is that we may be moving towards greater love and greater wisdom as part of the mystery. Seeing ourselves compassionately is a powerful way to spread the energy of compassion to the collective in an instant. And all it takes is willingness to do that. The willingness to be compassionate towards ourselves, the willingness to see how a more mystical, more spiritual, more beautiful energy is playing out is more than enough to shift things for the collective on the planet. And I think we are going to see and have powerful experiences that prove this to us in our own individual journeys. What I love about this week for us, well, look, it's a powerful astrological time, without a doubt. We've got a new moon, a very grounded, earthly, sensual new moon in Taurus. Taurus is a very sensual energy, after all. And then we've got all this hyper mind energy with Jupiter at anaretic degree of Aquarius, with Mercury in the sign of Gemini, speaking in supreme harmony, trine Saturn in Aquarius. So there's all this intellectual mind, detached, healthy detached energy. And then very quickly things start to change and we move towards immersion, diving into the ocean that is our collective experience. And there, getting in touch with what feels like something that could be described as divine. And it is truly a meeting with self. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who subscribes, who thumbs up, who shares, all of it. It means so much. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your positive energy and your love. Of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. As a superstar, you get expensive, exclusive video scopes each and every week for each and every sign, for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate. Choose Your Membership Rate gives you access to all the weekly horoscopes for each and every sign, but higher tiers can get you access to all of the special horoscopes. There are going to be new special horoscopes for superstars out this week for Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces and what that means for you in your sign. So be on the lookout for that, superstars. And higher tiers get you class passes to Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Link is in the description below, and I look forward to meeting you there. Synchronicity University Summer School is right around the corner. Can you believe it? We're almost at summer. If you sign up before the end of May, before the end of the month, you actually get to choose your tuition rate. As low as just $5 a class will get you access to some incredible classes that are going to be taking place throughout the summer, taught by me. And some of these classes include more classes on understanding the 7th house in astrology, understanding the 3rd house, the 5th house. The 5th house is very exciting because it is about fun and winnings and windfalls and romance. And we're going to have a class on pet astrology. We're going to have a class on rectification, which is about what is it that you do when you don't know someone's birth time. So I'm actually going to teach you some of those techniques so that you can start to practice and start to assess for yourself how it is that we as astrologers try to pinpoint a birth time when we don't know the exact birth time, and so much more as part of Synchronicity University Summer School. Again, as low as just $5 a class would choose your tuition rate. Going on until the end of the month, until the end of May, you can choose your tuition rate. Link is in the description below, or visit the all-new, revamped, incredible website at synchronicityuniversity.com. Synchronicity University, traditional techniques for the 21st century astrologer with Michael Barwick is in full effect. Michael has started his brand new series, his brand new session, and upcoming this week, He is going to be talking about essential dignity. So, essential dignity is this idea that certain planets like being in certain signs more than others. And Michael is going to be teaching us about this and what it means and how to interpret these planets, what it says about a person when they've got strongly placed planets in their chart or not strongly placed planets in their chart, and so much more. If you know, Michael Barwick is hugely popular at Synchronicity University and with students. And so you will get a chance to really understand essential dignity in a whole new way. And from a perspective that, on the one hand, honors the traditional interpretation, but also helps us to incorporate it as 21st century astrologers. It really is very exciting. You can sign up for his class at synchronicityuniversity.com, as well as the other classes he has coming up this month as part of his series on traditional techniques for the 21st century astrologer. Link is in the description below, or visit synchronicityuniversity.com to sign up now. Synchronicity University May 2021 speaker series is in full effect right now as we speak. And this week we are going to have the one and only my friend Armand Diaz. Now, Armand Diaz is widely recognized as one of the leading experts in understanding the astrology of breakups. He's literally written the book on it called Separating Aspects, a hugely popular book, where he talks about what kinds of aspects can speak to a relationship coming to an end, but also gives us very practical techniques so that we can ensure that we are okay while we go through a breakup. Now, I'm very excited about this class. His book helped me so much going through my own breakup. And so now getting a chance to learn from him and to really understand his techniques and his suggestions for how it is that we can navigate these times from an astrological perspective, well, I know I'm really looking forward to it. So if you would like to understand this, check out synchronicityuniversity.com. Check out more information on Armand's class that is coming up this week. As part of the May 2021 speaker series, we've got some other phenomenal speakers as well. We have got the one and only YouTube star, Stormie Grace, and she's going to be speaking on magical Mercury retrograde. I was talking about Mercury retrograde season. We are now embarking on Mercury retrograde season. So she's going to help us to understand how this can be a very magical time. My friend Samuel Reynolds is going to help us to understand how to interpret the bending of the lunar nodes. It's a brand new technique to a lot of people out there. So that's going to be fun to explore. And then, of course, Acyuta at Nightlight Astrology. The one and only Acyuta at Nightlight Astrology is going to be teaching us on mystical Saturn. Now, both Sam and Acyuta actually did little preview interviews with me, and you can check that out on my YouTube channel, and I will link to those interviews in the description below so you get a little bit of a taste of some of these incredible classes that are coming up this month in the month of May. So sign up for Armand's class or other classes, or even check out the download for Rachel Schwartz class on Kabbalistic astrology. It was phenomenal. It was so amazing. Students loved her. You can check that out. You can get the download at synchronicityuniversity.com. Link is in the description below. And you can get my take on your unique birth chart by checking out my partnership with Cosmogram at the Cosmogram website, link in the description below. You navigate to that site, you enter your birth data, and within hours, you will get a PDF of your birth chart and my interpretation of the different planetary aspects. If you go on to the Cosmogram website using the link in the description below, you'll also be able to download a preview, so you'll be able to see exactly what it is that you will get if you choose to get your own personalized report. Now, creating these reports was very much a matter of heart. It was one of those dreams that I had of doing one day, and I'm so grateful to Cosmogram for helping me to realize this dream. And I know the very first computer printout, the first computer generated report that I ever got, I still have that report. It changed my life because I felt like I was reading myself on paper. And it really opened something up to me that said, wow, I want to learn what's going on here. I want to learn how to read charts as well. And so if I can inspire that, or even just inspire you to learn something new about yourself, I think that will be an endeavor that is very well rewarded to me and also to you as well. I hope that you absolutely love them. Thank you to all the wonderful people who've given so much wonderful feedback on these reports. I appreciate each and every one of you. So if you'd like to learn more about how you can get my take on your unique birth chart, check out the link in the description below. Check out my partnership with Cosmogram. And thank you. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. What an exciting time we are living in. This is a week that really can change so much for so many people. It's an important shift of energy that is set to take place for a lot of us out there. And my hope is that you embrace it wholeheartedly, that you embrace it fully with enthusiasm, with excitement, and with compassion to yourself and to others. That's what Jupiter in Pisces is going to inspire us to do. That new moon that is coming early in the week also will invite us to be practical about the new beginnings we are having so that we can reap practical rewards, but also stay connected to inspiration. My hope is that we use this energy and all the energies playing out right now well as part of our unique journey towards the full embodiment of greater love and greater wisdom. Thank you for seeing me as part of your sacred journey as you are part of mine. I am so grateful for it. And thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.